Coming up, an amazing story with a twist about a U.S. Marine intent on bombing a mosque in Indiana and what happened when he crossed paths with Afghan refugees.
Now let's talk to someone at the center of that fascinating story.
He was walking kind of fast, his head was kind of down, pacing back and forth.
I was hoping for at least 200 or more, dead, injured.
You know, he thought he was doing the right thing.
He was at war with Muslims in his mind.
When I tell people this story, they tell me that they don't believe me.
The new documentary tells the story of a former U.S. Marine who planned to bomb a mosque in Muncie, Indiana, but when he meets an Afghan refugee named Bibi Barami and her family, their story takes a surprising turn. A Stranger at the Gate was produced by Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai.
And joining us now live is Bibi, who thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Bibi, this is truly an amazing story, and I don't even think people believe the turn this took. Tell the gist of this when you first met this man who came into the mosque.
Just to give you briefly, I've been totally blessed to understand in my upbringing to care for others all my life, and then my dearest husband in the medical field, I work in his office, and recognizing the need of others. And when I saw Mac, I said, oh my God, he needs some time. He needs to be respected. He needs to be welcomed. The vulnerability in him that I thought as a human is our obligation to welcome everyone in the center and to comfort them, that the worshiping place should be a place of comfort and understanding, according to my faith and many other faiths.
How and when did you discover that his intentions were not good?
I discovered that I was hearing from the community. I got many calls as a leader. We need to check on this. We're concerned. Even though when he converted to the religion, people were still even more afraid that he's getting into the system and he's going to continue with his mission. In order for me to comfort those people, I invited him over, and we had dinner together many times so the community can get comfortable with him. And then not only that, I give him some leadership responsibility. I asked him to serve as the president of Muslim Student Association because he was a student at Ball State University. And then gradually when our president stepped down and our Balai said that, the vice president of the Muslim Student Association could become president of the Islamic Center, and I was the community coordinator. When that happened, he asked me, Sister Bibi, I'm not able to do that, as you know, because I told him I will help you when he became the MSA president, and I told him I will do all the work, don't worry, it's in the bylaw, we have to follow the rules, and you become the president till we find a president. And I was totally blessed, and he was respected by the community. Everybody liked him just to be involved and give him that importance. And not only just a member and being in the leadership committee, executive board, even made an impact on the entire community, not only just the Muslim community and community in large. And the comfort that people got, and I will tell him that you're our police officer now. When I have an event, I will tell him, Brother Mac, can you go to the center and make sure everything is okay while I'm running behind? And he'll be standing and welcoming the community member for the monthly dinner, all the Muslim coming. And then they say, wow, this is...
But Bibi, let me ask you this. Let me ask you something, Bibi, for a second. Now, this gentleman suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. He had disdain for Muslims because of his experience in the war. There are some people in America who have disdain for Muslims who don't suffer from PTSD. Don't you feel a need to, are you concerned about security and safety in your faith in other people and trying to help them?
Yeah. I think, again, I'm totally blessed with my upbringing. My father always had welcome stranger at our home. We had home for homeless. I was kind of raised with that. I didn't have that fear. First, obviously, was my faith. That was giving me the strength. And then the second, my upbringing. And third, that I have served humanity throughout my life at the refugee camp in Pakistan during the Soviet invasion, and then coming as a refugee to the United States and serving people in my community and my service to others. I have planned to make my Muncie community an example to the entire world if it takes my time and energy. Sometimes I told people I will not sleep for 10 years if I can bring a better understanding among humanity and peace throughout my life.
It's an amazing story how you led with help and you led with reaching out open arms to this person who was in distress and became friends. You became friends, converted to Islam, and has become part of the community. What lesson or message do you have to people out there who see this documentary?
I suggest to always make people like to not to just conclude how person look like. Know the person who he is or she is, and welcome them. If there is nothing else you can do, at least smile and comfort and help, and not to just say that certain groups are terrorists, certain groups are disturbed. Not everybody, not all Muslims are bad, not all Christians are bad, not all Jewish are bad, not all other religion in the world. I'm also a co-founder of Interfaith. For the last 15 years, I will bring all 7 religions together, and I will choose a topic, and that topic will everybody seem like they're repeating themselves. Everybody respect neighbors.
Yeah.
And respect humanity, respect the rights of other humans on us and our community responsibility. And it looks like I feel like that we are repeating ourselves during this event. You know, we were totally blessed to have a potluck dinner of interfaith of all 7 religions. And I respect all religion, I respect all people, and that's what I teach others to respect each other.
It's a
how we look.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who we are.
Well, it's a wonderful message, and we thank you so much for joining us. The documentary is streaming on Stranger at thegate.com. You can also check out more on Instagram. Bibi, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this news.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Have a good day.